Today, I'm building a full studio setup with no power. But instead of doing it in here, I'm doing it all the way out here. So let's get our hands and speakers dirty and set up this battery-powered studio in the middle of the Nevada desert. Nothing beats a bright sunny day out in the middle of nowhere to pump my disrespectful 808s, scare some scorpions, and set up a complete production and recording studio setup without any power outlets. Why are we doing this, you may ask? Well, because we can. You see, up until this point, battery-powered speakers were kind of a consumer quality solution that you'd only see at small parties or playing music on the beach. The sound quality was never up to par with actual loudspeakers and subwoofers in regards to feeling the bass in your chest and hearing a clear stereo image, or potentially even cooking up beats. Battery-powered speakers were never really on the radar of producers and engineers outside of just checking your mix. But this new setup by Mackie completely redefines portable speakers. So let's get into it. The main components of today's setup are the new Mackie Thump Go portable subwoofers, the Mackie Thump Go speakers on top, and the Mackie Pro Effects 10 Go mixer, which has some serious tricks up its sleeve that we'll talk about later. Here on my desk, or folding table, I've got my M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch to run my DAW and all my plugins, the new Akai MPK Mini Mark IV MIDI controller, one of my favorite mics ever, the Neumann TLM49 condenser microphone, plus the Audio-Technica ATH M50X headphones, and a few XLR cables to connect it all. And everything in today's setup is available at guitarcenter.com. So to better break down the system, I've divided the video into 4 sections: the subwoofers, the top speakers, the mixer, and the listening test, where we're gonna pump one of my brand new productions through the finished sound system here in the desert to listen to it in action, plus my overall review of this sound system and who I'd recommend it for at the end. So first, let's begin with the subwoofers. Thump Go features dual 8-inch subwoofer drivers, a heavy-duty build quality, 400 watts of power, and about 40 pounds of weight to carry around. At a glance, they look like standard rectangular subwoofers that you'd see a mobile DJ or musician use, but when you look a little closer, you realize, yeah, the power cables, those are optional. These things are battery-powered subwoofers with not one, but 2 slots for hot swappable batteries that provide 6 hours each for a total subwoofer life of 12 hours. That's definitely enough to cook up at least a few beats or throw a lengthy party. Each subwoofer is $600 and includes 1 battery, or you can purchase the sub and extra battery combo for $670. Additionally, if you want spare backup batteries to go beyond that, you can find them for about $80 each at Guitar Center. When the optional power cable is connected, the batteries inside are recharging, which is super convenient. The subwoofer specs claim a frequency response down to 32 Hz with a max SPL of 123 dB, which is again, really impressive for the size. As you'll hear later, they shake your chest like a proper DJ system should. They operate in a stereo or summed mono configuration, but for my tests, I kept them in stereo. And to save you from yourself, they've included some RMS limiting to ensure you never blow them up no matter how disrespectful your 808s get. These are truly their own new category of subwoofers because not only does it support battery power, but it also supports wireless Bluetooth connection. You can directly wirelessly pair your phone, laptop, or iPad straight to the subwoofer, and then for your top speakers, you can simply daisy chain them together with XLR cables. All your sound pass-through and crossover networks happens right in the sub. So while you do have some XLR cables connecting the top speaker to the sub, you have no cables on the ground, and that's really nice when you're outside on the dirt in a setup, or maybe a sandy desert or beach, or even indoors around a group of people walking. The tripping hazard is always an issue. The subwoofers can be stacked, laid side by side, or spread apart to use as a base for the top speakers. Simply lay them flat, screw in the included poles, adjust your height, then add your top speakers for a full sound system in seconds. Moving on to the top speakers, these are the Mackie Thump Go 8-inch portable loudspeakers. These pack all the same battery life, Bluetooth, and customizability as the subs. But first, let's talk about what makes a loudspeaker different from a studio monitor. As the name implies, loudspeakers can project way higher SPLs than studio monitors. On the flip side, studio monitors are way more delicate, precise, flat, and focused than loudspeakers. Loudspeakers are also designed to go different places, be transported around safely, and create that nightclub atmosphere anywhere you go. And honestly, that's exactly why I find them useful in my production studio, because we always talk about giving our song the club test, and this is the perfect sound system to do that. As I said, loudspeakers offer slightly less precision and delicacy than studio monitors, but I think the real difference that you'll notice when you turn them on is the noise floor is a little bit more noticeable than it is compared to the hiss in studio monitors. But again, these are loudspeakers meant to be used in loud environments, so that's a little less of an issue. But in the studio, that is definitely something that you notice. But unlike studio monitors, these things seriously thump. The specs boast a frequency response from 50 Hz to 20 kHz, 115 decibels of SPL, and a 200 watt built-in amplifier in each speaker. Obviously, there's times in every project where you want to listen quiet and carefully, or you want to back up, turn it up, and hear your song through the club test. And that's exactly how I integrate these speakers into my studio setup. Taking a closer look at the back, you can also see the side control panel is like having a tiny mixer built in. The speaker offers 4 main modes, which are regular music mode, speech mode, stage monitor mode, and sub mode. These are all effectively different EQ curves. Music is best when you're using them with no subwoofer as a standalone Bluetooth speaker. Speech is optimized for when you're using them with a vocal microphone. Monitor mode is when you have them on the floor pointing up, and sub mode is when you have them on poles with a subwoofer handling all the lower frequencies. It does a higher crossover frequency. And additional options like outdoor mode for extra volume, music ducking to reduce the level of the songs when you're speaking on the mic, and a brilliantly designed feedback elimination system that makes it easier than ever to use microphones around your speakers without any annoying squealing. Plus a button to enable or disable the green light on the front to save some battery. And to take the wirelessness to the next level, you can even download the Mackie Thump Go app to your iPhone and Android, link the 2 speakers together via Bluetooth for a true stereo Bluetooth sound system. Using the Mackie Thump Go app also gives you full control over every knob and button on your top speakers and subwoofer from any phone or mobile device while you stream your music via Bluetooth. This makes the entire user experience completely seamless, giving you control over everything from anywhere. But ultimately, my favorite setup is using the XLR cables because that provides the highest sound quality and lowest possible latency for music production. So that leads us to the centerpiece of our entire operation, the audio mixer. This is the Mackie Pro FX 10 Go mixer, and just like the subwoofer and speakers, it runs on battery, connects with Bluetooth or cables. You get to choose. It costs $299 at Guitar Center, and I'd say it punches well above its price. Anyone familiar with channel strip plugins or mixing consoles will instantly recognize the layout from top to bottom with mic inputs, low cut filter switches, input gain, compression knob, highs, mids, and low EQ, effects volume, panning, mute, and your output level. The built-in effects list is extensive and you can route it however you like. After all, it is a full-blown mixer. Plus you can connect anything from keyboards, aux cords, Bluetooth wireless inputs, or guitars. My favorite feature as a music producer is connecting it via USB-C, which turns your mixer into an audio interface for stereo recording and low latency music production. When using this mixer as an interface, it's not exactly plug and play, but the steps to get it set up on your Mac are very simple. Just open your audio MIDI setup, choose the Mackie mixer, choose outputs, and configure speakers. Then change outputs 1 and 2 to say 3 and 4 instead. Click apply, turn up channel 7/8 on your mixer, and you'll hear audio coming from your Mac into the mixer. When using the Mackie mixer as an interface, you're recording in high quality 24-bit 192 kHz audio into your DAW of choice. For my input, I brought the Neumann TLM49 condenser mic, which requires phantom power, and that's available right here on the mixer. And fun fact, all the voiceovers that you're hearing in this tutorial were recorded through the Mackie Pro FX 10 Go mixer back in my studio, and it sounds amazing for both the inputs and the headphone outputs. But back to our studio setup. We can connect our main monitor left output of the mixer to the left subwoofer, and then daisy chain the signal up to the left top speaker. Connect the right mixer output to the right subwoofer, then daisy chain the signal up to the right top speaker. Then I'm gonna switch my speakers to subwoofer mode, crank up the volume about halfway, and we're ready to take a listen to our battery-powered studio in the desert for the very first time. While the music plays, I'm going to edit back and forth between the Neumann mic and the regular built-in camera mic so you can hear them through 2 different perspectives.
Can I get a drum roll, please? Chip on my shoulder with a trick on my sleeve. Abracadabra, I'ma make you believe. Bankroll look like a bag of leaves.
Address me as your majesty. The competition ain't as bad as me. I'm supersonic with my energy. Abracadabra, I got a trick up my sleeve. Woof. All eyes on me when I walk through.
All eyes on me, what you wanna do? King and queen of the can't believe. I'm from the jungle, so you know what that means. You eat what you kill, yeah, I'm doing my thing. I gotta lean, so.
Wow, so the first thing I thought when I heard the sound quality was these speakers sound huge. This shakes the ground, shakes your chest, shakes your studio table, and projects my mix and disrespectful 808s perfectly clean. I mean, half volume was already impressively loud, and there was plenty of room overhead to go. The Mackie Thump Sub Go is literally a battery-powered club sound system for even less than a regular pair of loudspeakers costs. My laptop would probably die after about 4 or 5 hours. The mixer would die after about 6 hours, and the sound system would literally go for 12 hours. So we would be out here until well into the middle of the night if I wanted to play music until the speakers literally died. I could see a 12-hour battery life being really useful for DJ sets out in nature, music production cookups in the desert like this, DJing community events or tailgate parties where you're out in the middle of like a parking lot or a street, or even wedding DJs who need a reliable, sleek solution for that cocktail hour or wedding ceremony on the beach. You could totally even DJ a small wedding reception or party with the power that this system puts out. I personally know the mobile DJ to music producer pipeline is a real thing because I went through it myself, and I couldn't have even dreamed of something this convenient and good sounding back in the days of my DJ career. This would have saved me so much effort back when I was lugging around speakers every weekend for gigs. Now, decades later, I'm just focused on my music production, and I find that club test style sound system to still be really useful in my everyday productions. It allows you to really hear your song loud without risking blowing up your studio monitors, and you can even back up and just enjoy the bass and feel what it would sound like if a DJ was playing it. I'd recommend this to any music producer who needs a big loudspeaker setup in their studio or a mobile rig that they can take anywhere. And of course, everything you need to get started building your own setup or mobile studio can be found at guitarcenter.com, including the MIDI keyboard, microphone, headphones, and everything else you see in today's setup. Thank you so much to Mackie for pushing the envelope of what speakers can do and sending me a pair to review and push to the limits. If you want to learn more about the Thump Sub Go sound system, I'll include links in the description below and catch you guys next time in another video.